Right, well today we're off on us holidays and we're off to the west coast. We're off to St Anne's and Blackpool. Yeah, most of the industrial people went to Blackpool on their holidays. We all did as kids. Lancashire, Yorkshire, it was a favourite place. And during Wakes Week, who did you meet? Well, you met everybody from work and everybody you thought you left behind at home. Anyway, we're going to start off in St Anne's looking at a future project we're going to do, and then we're off to Blackpool. And what do you want fetching back from Blackpool? Yeah, don't forget, fetch us back a stick of rock. Well, what's its links with the Burnley mining industry? Let's go and find out. What's the significance then we've been at St Anne's? Well, there's those buildings over there, the connection they have with Rossendale, and I haven't really researched this, so this is just a bit of an add-on. We need to do some more research into the St Anne's on Sea building company that had links with a lot of industrialists from Rossendale who joined that company anyway and built a lot of the houses. Are they built in local stone? I need to find out a little bit more. But some of the houses are situated along that north promenade there. For those that are that certain age, the nameplate isn't long enough, is it? Right, we've had a brief chat about the St Anne's on Sea building company, and I'm going to really look into that a lot better. But what else can we look at while we're in Blackpool? Well, this doesn't have a connection to Rossendale. Well, of course it does, everybody used to come on their holidays, but we're going to find a mining connection, and it's where Blackpool rock comes from. Apparently Blackpool rock and Burnley have a connection through the mining industry. Come on, we'll go and find some rock and have a look. Ben Bullock was born in Burnley, and they kind of lived, if you look on the census here, around the St James area, and even later on they were around the same area, and his brothers lived around the Calder Street area. Now, legend has it that Ben was a Burnley miner. Now, he probably was, but I haven't been able to find any official record of that yet on any of the census. But then a census is only once every 10 years, and if he hasn't, which he didn't, have children at that time, he's not going to appear on any baptism records. But his brother was a pitman, so perhaps Ben did go down the pit for a while. But by 1868 he'd moved, he'd left Burnley and he'd gone across to Yorkshire to the West Riding, round about Dewsbury. But by this time he was a sugar boiler, a confectioner. And makes you wonder, you're possibly doing that anyway back in Burnley, but he probably did spend time at the pit. We'll have it that he did, otherwise he's not a Burnley miner, is he? And he started at the low end with his sweet selling, because sweets then, you know, they're a luxury to normal working people. And he just sold the bottom end of stuff, you know, different drops and things like that on the markets around the West Riding of Yorkshire. But then he got an idea for something bigger. He'd opened a confectioner's factory and he was employing about 26 people. But he got the idea of making rock. And not only making rock, but lettered rock, and putting letters all the way through the rock. But he didn't say Blackpool, and he didn't say Eckmondwike neither. So originally then, back in Eckmondwike in Dewsbury, what he had put through the rock was "Whoa, Emma," and it was a popular music hall song at the time. I wish I could find a copy of it or something like that. Sorry, love. But I can't. So it was "Whoa, Emma." So how do we get to Blackpool from that? Well, there was two events. First, the invention of something that meant that things like rock could be transported, which was like a grease-proof paper. And secondly, well, he came here on his holidays. He came onto Talbot Road and stayed in a post office, I think with John Pillins. And he got the idea then to go home and manufacture stuff to send to the seaside, because it had gone down a bomb back at home in Dewsbury. So what do we know about Ben? Well, very little. We know he was born in 1843, the son of John and Anne Bullock, and his father John, I think, was originally from Barnoldswick or Barlick, and they're living on Malt Row in Burnley. Now, when he's 7 years old in 1851, they've moved to the marketplace, the new marketplace in Burnley Centre. And we notice that his dad is a greengrocer, and this is the important thing as we go through this. The jobs seem to change quite a lot. And what I've arrowed there on the map is the pub, which is the Market Tavern Hotel, and it seems that they live nearby it, just to give you an idea of exactly whereabouts they are living. And what's interesting, on later census, it shows actually caravans there in the marketplace. But in 1861 we get a massive clue. John, Ben's father, he's now a confectioner. That is a big clue, isn't it? But Ben himself has started work as a cotton weaver. So we get to 1871, and by this time, of course, Ben has disappeared across over towards Eckmondwike and Dewsbury. But look at the jobs again. The dad now, John, Father John, is a furniture broker, but it's his mother that's the confectioner. But the interesting thing I wanted to bring in, as we look lower down, the young John, the brother, he's a mule spinner. Well, let's see what he is in 10 years' time. So now young John is living on Calder Street, and he is a coal miner, he's a pitman. And John, which is the brother of Ben, remains a pitman, it seems now, for the rest of his working life. So there's certainly a connection, but we can't find a connection on the census to show that Ben was down the pit. But that doesn't mean anything. The census are every 10 years. A lot happens in 10 years. And there's no records while Ben was in Burnley of him getting married, because he got married while he lived in Yorkshire. So his occupation wouldn't appear. So here we've got Ben in 1873, living in Dewsbury. He's a confectioner. Another thing puts him down as a sugar boiler on something else. But he's getting married to Mary Dixon. And now he starts off in earnest, really, in the confectionery business and building a little bit of an empire. So Ben had had his holiday in Blackpool, staying on Talbot Road. They've got the invention of greaseproof paper. Ben had formed a company in 1876, and he went from strength to strength, actually. And the idea of putting the resort name of Blackpool, because he tried it and sent samples, and people just absolutely loved it. And it wasn't long before he was sending 100 weights worth of rock to Blackpool. And not only in Blackpool did they love it, well, other resorts it caught on. They wanted their name through the rock. And rock went to the Sudan, it went to Malta, India, and even Australia. So what a success Ben had by that idea. Now, was Ben a miner from Burnley? Well, he was certainly from Burnley, but we've found nothing that says that he was a miner. We've just got the folklore. But that folklore, it might be true. It possibly is true. Certainly his brother was a pitman, and we're missing vast strays, really, of Ben's life, aren't we? Anyway, Ben died in 1905 in Southport, actually, but whether he was a miner or whether he wasn't, it's good to celebrate his life. The fact that he came from Burnley, he's got a fantastic legacy, and his family were certainly involved in the mining industry, even if Ben wasn't. So anyway, thanks for watching, and thanks for Dave and Sam also for putting up with a long weekend in St Anne's, and we'll catch you next time.